Hello folks, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to continue my studio etiquette series by talking about slang terms. Now, when I say slang terms, I am referring to any nickname or slang name for a particular piercing placement. For example, snake bites for paired labret piercings, Ashley for an inverse vertical labret or vermilion piercing, spider bites for 2 paired lower lip piercings, snake eyes for a horizontal tongue piercing, just kind of any slang term for a piercing that is not the same as its anatomical term. And when it comes to slang terms, there can definitely be a lot of confusion and a lot of miscommunication in the studio. So very often we'll have clients coming in asking for piercings with a slang term, and in the studio, piercers, consultants, front of house will ask a client to clarify what placement they mean, typically by pointing on their body or by showing us a picture. And very often we'll ask for that clarification and a client will be like, ugh, I thought you were a professional. What do you mean you don't know what snake bites are? Or folks will be kind of like weird about us asking for that clarification. And the reason why we do this is because slang terms are not universal. Take snake bites, for example. For as long as I have been working and piercing in the industry, snake bites to me meant a set of paired lower lip piercings. So there was a time period when I stopped asking for clarification. If someone came in and said, oh yeah, I want to get my snake bites pierced, my brain went, okay, we're doing a set of paired labret piercings. Let's go look at jewelry. Well, somewhat recently, the jewelry and piercing company Studs decided to trademark the term stud snakebite or snakebite stud to mean 2 cartilage piercings in the ear. So now, when I have folks come into the studio and say, I want to get my snake bites pierced, I'm thinking, okay, we want to do paired lip piercings. And the client is thinking, okay, we want to do 2 helix piercings. And so when I start talking to them about oral health and hygiene when it comes to their piercings, they're looking at me like I have sprouted 14 heads and don't know what I'm talking about. So in order to help prevent that miscommunication, we're going to ask for clarification. We're going to ask people to explain what it is they want and what it is they're looking for. So if you come into a studio, first of all, if at all possible, please use the technical term for the piercing you want to get done. So if you want to get any kind of combination of lip piercings, just point and say, hey, I'm looking to get 2 lip piercings here and here. Hey, I'm looking to get 2 lip piercings here and here. Hey, I want paired piercings on my upper lip. Instead of saying, I want snake bites, dolphin bites, cyber bites, anything like this, because those slang terms, they can mean different things to different people, and people might be asking for other things with that. So as piercers, it's just a whole lot easier if you ask using the technical term, or better yet, if you just point or show us a picture. But if you're going to use slang terminology when you come in to ask for a piercing, don't be surprised or offended if your piercer or their coworkers asks you for clarification, asks you to show them a picture of what you want done, asks you to point to something. We are doing that because we want to make sure we are setting you up for the correct, proper piercing that you want, that we're showing you the right jewelry, and that we're having like the correct experience with you in the studio. And nowhere is this more obvious than the triangle piercing. Now, triangle piercing is a technical term in the piercing industry for a piercing that passes horizontally behind the clitoral shaft. It is a very popular genital piercing for folks who have vulvas, particularly transmasculine folks. This piercing has been called a triangle since its inception because of the overall triangular area of anatomy where it's located. It is also a highly anatomy-dependent piercing. Not everyone has the anatomy to get this pierced. In fact, I would say about 30 to 40% of folks who come in looking for a triangle, I'm unable to safely do a triangle piercing for. So the first step, if someone comes into my studio and says they want to get their triangle pierced, is to have them fill out paperwork, and then I'm going to take them in the back and I'm going to do a consultation. I'm going to talk to them about the piercing, the pros and cons of it, what they can expect from the process and from healing, and then I'm going to have the client disrobe, and I am going to check their anatomy to see if they have the appropriate space for me to do a triangle. You can imagine some of the awkward interactions that have been happening in piercing studios around the world since, thanks to TikTok, people have been referring to a series of stacked lobe piercings in a triangular shape as a triangle piercing. So folks have come into a studio and said, I want to get my triangle piercing. And we've gone, oh, okay, fill out this paperwork. Our piercer will be right with you. And then I've gone up front and said, okay, come on back with me. We're going to do your consultation. And I've led them into my piercing room and gone, all right, we're doing a triangle piercing for you today. Do you have any questions about this piercing or anything you'd like to know before we start with a consultation? The client goes, nope, this is a really easy, straightforward one. I go, okay, well, right now we're going to do that consult. We're going to check your anatomy, make sure that you're suited for everything. You can disrobe and remove the clothing from your lower half, leave it over on this chair, and hop up on the table. And clients have been like, excuse me, disrobe, take off my clothes. What the fuck are you asking? I'm getting my ear pierced. And I have to go, oh, a triangle piercing is a genital piercing. What is it that you wanted to get pierced? So now we ask for clarification about everything so that we avoid those very awkward and uncomfortable experiences. And we don't do it to be rude. We don't do it because we don't know what you're talking about. We don't do it because we're uneducated as body piercers. We do it because slang terms are constantly evolving and changing. I'll have someone come in and ask for a snake bite and mean lip piercings. I'll have someone come in and ask for a snake bite and mean their tongue. Now I have people coming in asking for snake bites meaning their ears. I just want to make sure I know what body part you want pierced and that we're on the same page and that we don't have any awkward interactions. This is also kind of the drawback to these slang terms. Like, I get it. It doesn't really sound like as cool or fun to say, oh, I have paired labret piercings. And it's a bit of a mouthful to say, oh, I have paired vertical upper lip piercings. But it does allow for more concise communication, especially when we're talking with other people in a studio, when it's a piercer and a client working together, to make sure that we're on the same page and we're doing the right thing. If you want to go see your friends and say, hey, I just got my angel fangs pierced, I just got my snake bites pierced, you know, that's cool, that's whatever. But when you're interacting with piercers in a studio, we would so appreciate it if you used anatomical terms. It just makes everything so much easier for us. And this is also your PSA. If you see a piercing called by something that doesn't sound like a very technical anatomical term, Google it. Google it before you come into a studio to get it. Find out if it is a slang term or if that's its proper name. And if it is a slang term, if there's any other piercings that go by that name. I'm looking at you folks who want triangle stacked lobes. Just my advice as a professional body piercer is to Google it first, just to be safe. Just because you never know. Just to be safe. So that is just a little PSA about using slang terms in the studio. Piercers are not trying to be assholes or rude by correcting your use of language or asking for clarification. We're just trying to make sure that we're on the same page and that you get the piercings that you really want to get done. I hope that helps, and I hope next time you go in the studio you are prepared with the proper language for different piercings or with a nice little picture on your phone to make sure that there is no miscommunication. All right, folks, thanks so much for hanging out and chatting, and I can't wait to talk with y'all again soon. Bye.